The 2021-2022 NBA season officially tipped off 3 weeks ago, and it has been off to a fun start. But despite the fun and excitement, there have been some players that have been off to a disappointing start in their 2022 campaigns, and these are 5 players that haven't met expectations so far this season. First up is Damian Lillard of the Portland Trailblazers, and throughout the first few weeks of the season, he is averaging a career low 18.5 points per game at the time that I'm recording this, which is unheard of for the superstar point guard. He's also averaging 8.5 assists and 3.8 rebounds to go along with this. On the plus side though, his assist numbers are a career high, so at least he's got that working for him. He's struggling to score the ball, so he's doing more to get his teammates involved. But then that leads us to his unfortunate shooting percentages. He is shooting career lows from both the field and three-point territory, as he is currently shooting 35.1% from the field and 24.7% from beyond the three-point line. Additionally, he is shooting 85.3% from the free throw line, which is still insanely good, but it is one of the lower percentages of his now 10-year career. These numbers from Damian Lillard are absolutely shocking, and no one could have guessed that 3 weeks into the season he would be slumping this hard. I wouldn't say this is exactly too much of a worry for Dame and the Blazers, as he'll probably get it together sooner rather than later, but he hasn't looked anything like his normal self early on. On the bright side, the Blazers have stayed afloat in the stacked Western Conference with Damian Lillard slumping, which within itself is an encouraging sign for what's ahead. Many people have started to question why Dame is struggling so much this early. I believe it can be caused by a variety of factors. For starters, the Trailblazers did hire a new head coach this offseason in Chauncey Billups, so Lillard could definitely be struggling to adjust to this new system. We all know about the new officiating rules that were put in place this season, and that could also be changing the way he's playing on a nightly basis. And finally, the NBA did switch the official ball from Spalding to Wilson, and that has forced shooting percentages to drop league-wide as players are still adjusting to a different ball. And trust me, this does make a difference. Overall, I'm sure Damian Lillard will return to his normal self sooner rather than later, but up until this point, he has been less than spectacular to start the season. Next up is Michael Porter Jr. of the Denver Nuggets, who at the time of this recording is going to be out for the foreseeable future due to back soreness, and his back has been known to be a concern for his entire NBA career up until this point. But moving on to his slow start, if you saw my awards predictions video, you would know that Michael Porter Jr. was my pick to win the Most Improved Player award this season, and up until this point, it isn't looking too good. In the 9 games he's played this season, MPJ is averaging 9.9 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per game, which are similar numbers to what he averaged his rookie year, except he's now playing nearly double the amount of minutes. And these numbers come with the Nuggets missing their second best player in Jamal Murray, so who knows what MPJ will be putting up once he returns to the floor. Porter is also shooting a terrible 35.9% from the field on 11 attempts per game, and 20.8% from 3 on 5 attempts per night. MPJ's best game of the young season was on opening night, where he put up 15 points in his team's victory over the reigning Western Conference champion, Phoenix Suns. But since then, he has yet to have a game where he scored 15 or more points, which is insane for a player that's out there just to strictly get buckets. During the offseason, Michael Porter Jr. and the Denver Nuggets came to agreement on a 5-year, $172 million max contract extension to make him one of the highest paid players in the league going forward. Many people openly criticize this deal because of his health concerns, which is now a valid argument, especially because he is now slated to miss some time due to injury. This signing is already looking a little rough for the Nuggets, but I still don't think it's anything to be worried about at this point. But if MPJ continues the limited production he's currently providing for the rest of the season, then it might be something to look out for in the near future. I do believe Porter will return to his normal self after he comes back from injury, but he desperately needs to step it up, especially with Jamal Murray out, and the Nuggets will need him to be the certified number 2 option next to Nikola Jokic for the time being, and he has most certainly not played anything like it early on. Hopefully MPJ gets everything sorted between his health and his on-the-court play soon, because throughout the first 3 weeks, he has looked nothing like an MIP candidate or the preseason betting favorite that everyone thought he'd be. And coming in at number 3 is James Harden of the Brooklyn Nets. The former league MVP is off to a slow start in 2021-22, and many people are blaming the new officiating rules for Harden's little success early in the season. He is currently averaging 18.3 points per game, which is the lowest he's averaged since he was a 6th man in Oklahoma City about a decade ago. Additionally, he's also averaging 8.5 assists and 7.7 rebounds, with shooting splits that include 39.9% from the field and 40% from behind the three-point line. meaning that he shoots better from 3 than anywhere else on the floor. He's also giving the ball up multiple times per game, as he averages 4.5 turnovers per contest. Many speculate that this is related to the new foul rules, whereas he drives to the basket, he either gets called for an offensive foul to turn it over, or loses control while trying to initiate contact. This can also relate to his poor in-the-arc shooting, as he is throwing the ball at the rim expecting a whistle, but then not receiving one as the other team grabs the rebound and runs in transition. James Harden's shooting and scoring struggles are of minor concern, because his team will need him to score with the absence of Kyrie Irving, but I'm sure he'll figure it out in the very near future. You can tell these new rules are requiring a decent amount of adjusting for players like Harden, but once they get used to it, scoring numbers and shooting percentages will return back to normal. I'm not worried about James Harden's early season struggles, because I am confident he will bounce back sooner rather than later. Next up at number 4 is Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics, who has struggled to stay efficient to start the season when his team needs him to take on a large portion of the scoring load. Tatum is currently averaging 23.5 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game, and his shooting splits currently sit at 38.9% from the field, 32.9% from 3, and 75.5% from the line. These are career lows for all 3 shooting splits for the 23-year-old wing, who is now in his 5th season. Jason Tatum is also shooting the most shots per night that he's shot in his entire career, and you could easily argue that he is being outplayed by his co-star Jaylen Brown to start the season. It's not even like he's taking bad shots. Celtics' new head coach Ime Udoka said that he's taking shots that he used to normally make, but they're just unfortunately not falling right now. So on the bright side, it's safe to assume they'll start falling eventually, because he won't just continue to miss if he's getting solid open looks. The Celtics are currently dealing with an issue where some players claim that Brown and Tatum need to learn how to play make better and get other guys involved, especially when they're both struggling to shoot one night. Overall, Jason Tatum's main issue is that his shot just isn't falling at the moment, which I'm confident will change as the season progresses and he settles into a groove. We all know that JT is one of the best pure scorers in the league, so it's just a matter of time before he starts dominating once again. And finally, at number 5 is Russell Westbrook of the Los Angeles Lakers. During the offseason, the Lakers and the Wizards completed a blockbuster trade to send the former league MVP to Los Angeles to team up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but so far the trio has struggled to get off the ground. I believed it would be a questionable fit from the beginning, but I still do think that they'll make it work as the season progresses, and once they all finally learn how to play together, it'll be great to see. However, we haven't seen much of it because LeBron James is currently out due to injury. But Russ has not started off the season too great himself, and he is averaging 19.3 points, which is the lowest he's averaged for about a decade, to go along with 9.1 rebounds and 8.9 assists. He's currently shooting 41.6% from the field, 28% from 3, and a career low 65.5% from the free throw line. To add on to this, he's also averaging close to a career high in turnovers per game at 5.3 per contest. As of now, it seems that Lakers head coach Frank Vogel is still learning how to use Westbrook effectively, and who to put on the floor with him that works best for him and everyone else. Russ will definitely adjust to playing with his new teammates, and as I previously mentioned, I'm not too concerned with his slow start to the season. I'm sure he'll turn it around, and the Lakers will need him to, as they have bigger goals than just regular season victories. And that has been my list of 5 players that I believe have been disappointing to start off the 2021-2022 season. Please let me know in the comment section down below if there's anybody that you believe that I missed. Smash that like button if you did enjoy, hit the subscribe button to see more content from me, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by, enjoy yourselves. Peace!